Shared by a user named Eric P. on a road trip forum in 2021. Eric said there are two kinds of gas stations: the normal ones, and the ones you only notice when it's too late. He had been driving for hours that night. A long, empty highway stretching endlessly through darkness, with no towns, no exits, nothing but the road and the occasional sign reminding him how far he still had to go. It was past 2 a.m., the kind of hour where your thoughts slow down and the world feels slightly unreal. That's when the fuel light came on. At first, he ignored it. But after a few more miles, it stayed. Steady. Persistent. So when he saw the gas station ahead, he felt relieved. It appeared almost suddenly. One moment, there was nothing. The next, a dimly lit structure sitting alone beside the road. 4 pumps. A small building. One flickering overhead light. No other cars. No movement. Eric pulled in. The tires crunched softly against the ground. The engine shut off. And immediately, the silence hit him. Heavy. Complete. No distant traffic. No wind. No insects. Just stillness. Eric stepped out of the car slowly. The air felt wrong. Not colder. Not warmer. Just heavier. Like it pressed against him slightly. He walked toward the pumps. His footsteps sounding louder than they should. He stopped at pump number 4. He didn't know why. He could have chosen any of them. But something about that one felt fixed. Like it had already been decided. He inserted his card. Waited. The machine beeped. Approved. The numbers started moving as fuel began to flow. Eric leaned against his car slightly, glancing toward the convenience store. The lights inside were on. Bright. But no one was there. Not behind the counter. Not in the aisles. It felt staged. Like a place pretending to be open. "Hello?" Eric called out. His voice didn't carry far. It seemed to stop just a few feet in front of him. No response. Just the steady hum of the pump. Eric looked back at his car. And froze. Because someone was standing there. On the other side. Near pump 3. A man. Completely still. Facing him. Eric's heart skipped. He hadn't heard a car. Hadn't seen anyone arrive. The man hadn't been there before. "Hey," Eric said cautiously. No response. The man didn't move. Didn't blink. Just stood there. Watching. Eric shifted slightly. Trying to get a clearer look. But the lighting made it impossible. The flickering overhead bulb cast shadows that moved just enough to distort the man's face. All Eric could tell was something about him wasn't right. His posture. Too straight. Too balanced. Like he wasn't resting his weight naturally. Then, the pump stopped. Abruptly. Eric looked down. It had barely filled his tank halfway. He frowned and tried again. The screen flickered. Then went blank. The overhead light buzzed louder. Flickering faster now. Eric looked up. And the man was closer. Now standing directly behind his car. Eric's chest tightened. He hadn't heard him move. Hadn't seen him take a single step. But the distance was gone. "Can I help you?" Eric asked. The man tilted his head. Slowly. Too slowly. Like the motion had been delayed. Then he spoke. "Wrong pump." His voice was flat. Empty. Like it had no emotion behind it. Eric frowned. "What do you mean?" The man didn't answer. He raised his arm slowly. Pointed. At the number on the pump. "Wrong pump," he repeated. Eric felt a chill run through him. "I already started," he said, trying to sound calm. The man's head tilted again. Slightly more. Then, "You shouldn't have." The words landed heavier than they should. Eric reached for the nozzle. The moment his hand touched it, the screen lit up again. The numbers started moving. Fast. Too fast. Climbing rapidly. Higher. Higher. Past what his tank could hold. Eric's eyes widened. "Stop," he muttered, pulling at the nozzle. It didn't move. It was stuck. Locked in place. The sound of the fuel changed. From a steady flow to something thicker. Slower. Heavier. Eric looked down. And his stomach dropped. Because what was coming out wasn't gas. It was dark. Thick. Almost black. Spilling onto the ground. Pooling around his feet. Eric yanked harder. The nozzle came loose suddenly. The flow stopped instantly. Silence. Eric stumbled back, breathing hard. He looked down. The ground was dry. Completely clean. No liquid. No trace. Like it had never happened. Slowly, he looked up. The man was gone. Gone. No sound. No movement. Nothing. Eric rushed into his car. Locked the doors. Started the engine. But before he drove, he looked at the pump one last time. Pump number 4. The screen was on. But instead of numbers, it showed something else. A message. Stay. Eric's chest tightened. He drove. Fast. Didn't look back. Didn't stop. 4 miles. Until he reached another gas station. Bright. Busy. Normal. He pulled in immediately. Stepped out. Checked his tank. Full. Exactly full. Not over. Not under. Perfect. But when he checked his receipt later, it wasn't normal. No price. No gallons. Just one word. Transfer. And beneath it, a number. Not money. Not fuel. But something else. The exact number of miles left on his odometer. And ever since that night, Eric says something changed. His car doesn't feel the same. Sometimes, late at night, when the road is empty, the fuel gauge drops faster than it should, even when he just filled it. And sometimes, in his rearview mirror, he sees it again. That same gas station. Far behind him. 4 pumps. 1 flickering light. And a man already standing there. At pump number 4. Waiting. Like he never left. Like he's still there. And always will be. Story was shared by a user named Hannah R. on a retail worker forum in 2020. Hannah said working night shifts changes how you see places. A gas station during the day feels normal. Busy. Predictable. Safe. At night, it feels like something else entirely. She had been working the late shift for a few months. Midnight to 6 a.m. The quiet hours. The hours where time feels slower than it should. Most nights were uneventful. A few customers. Some truckers. People passing through. But there were long stretches where nothing happened. Just silence. And the hum of the refrigerators. That night felt like one of those. It was around 3 a.m. No customers for over an hour. Hannah stood behind the counter, scrolling through her phone, occasionally glancing up at the door out of habit. Everything felt normal. Too normal. That's when the bell rang. A soft chime as the door opened. Hannah looked up. A man had entered. Tall. Wearing a dark jacket. A cap pulled low over his face. "Hey," she said automatically. No response. The man didn't look at her. Didn't acknowledge her at all. He just walked slowly down one of the aisles. His steps were quiet. Too quiet. Like they didn't fully connect with the floor. Hannah watched him for a moment. Something about him felt off. Not threatening. Not aggressive. Just wrong. She shook it off. Probably just tired. A few minutes passed. Then she realized something. She hadn't heard anything. No rustling. No items being picked up. No footsteps. Just silence. Hannah leaned slightly to look down the aisle. Empty. The man was gone. Her stomach tightened. She stepped out from behind the counter. "Hello?" she called. No answer. She walked slowly through the aisles. Checked each one. Nothing. No one. The store was empty. Completely. Hannah exhaled slowly. Then turned. And froze. Because the man was standing at the counter. Closer than before. Much closer. Just a few feet away. She hadn't heard him pass her. Hadn't seen him move. He was just there. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice tighter now. The man stared at her. Unblinking. Then slowly. He placed something on the counter. A key. Old. Rusty. Worn down. Hannah looked at it. Then back at him. "What is this?" she asked. The man spoke. "Back door." Her stomach dropped. There was a back door. Employees only. Always locked. She shook her head. "That's not..." The man leaned forward slightly. "Back door," he repeated. His voice didn't change. Still flat. Still empty. Hannah took a small step back. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then, everything went dark. For just a second. When the lights came back. The man was gone. The key was still there. On the counter. Hannah stared at it. Her heart beating faster now. Because she knew something. No one had left. She would have heard the door. The bell. Something. But there had been nothing. Just silence. She slowly picked up the key. It felt cold. Too cold. Like it had been sitting in ice. Hannah swallowed. Then looked toward the back hallway. The door was there. Closed. Still. But something felt wrong. Like it wasn't just a door anymore. She walked toward it slowly. Each step heavier than the last. The closer she got, the colder the air became. Not dramatic, but enough to notice. Her hand hovered over the handle. Then, it moved, turning slowly. On its own. The door creaked open slightly. Cold air rushed out. Stronger this time. Hannah stepped back. Because inside, the storage room didn't look right. The shelves were there, but not where they should be. The space felt deeper. Longer. Like it stretched farther than it was supposed to. Then, a voice came from inside. Her voice. "Close it." Hannah's chest tightened. She didn't move. The voice came again. Closer. "Close it." But this time, it didn't sound exactly like her. It was slightly off. Like someone trying to copy her voice. Hannah slammed the door shut. Locked it immediately. Stepped back. Her hands shaking. She returned to the counter. Trying to calm down. Trying to think. Then, the bell rang again. She looked up. No one entered. The door hadn't opened. But the sound had been clear. Loud. Right above her. Her breathing became shallow. Then, she noticed something. The key. It wasn't on the counter anymore. Her eyes widened. Because she hadn't moved it. Slowly. She looked down. And there it was. In her hand. She didn't remember picking it up again. Didn't remember touching it. But she was holding it. Tightly. Then, the lights flickered again. Longer this time. The store dimmed. And in that dim light, Hannah saw something. Behind the counter. Where she had been standing earlier. A figure. Standing still. Facing forward. Her. Wearing her uniform. Her face. Her posture. Perfectly still. Hannah's breath caught. Because it wasn't moving. Not reacting. Just standing there. Like it had always been. Then, it blinked. Slowly. Hannah stumbled back. The light snapped back to normal. The figure was gone. Everything looked the same again. But it wasn't. Because now she understood something. The man hadn't come into the store. He had come from the back. And whatever was behind that door, it wasn't empty. It was replacing. Hannah didn't finish her shift. She left as soon as morning came. The manager checked the cameras later. No man had entered. No one had walked the aisles. But something was recorded. Hannah, standing behind the counter, talking to no one, then stepping away, toward the back, holding something, even though nothing was visible in her hand, then stopping, looking at the door, like something was speaking to her, and for a brief moment, the footage showed something else, another figure, standing behind the counter, still, watching, wearing her face. Hannah quit that same day. But sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, she feels it again, like she's still there, standing behind that counter, waiting for someone to walk in. And when she closes her eyes, she hears it, a soft chime, the sound of the door opening, and a voice, flat, empty, back door.